Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen. Cloud Imperium put out a post confirming plans to release Star Citizen Alpha 3.17.2 to live later today. And there are some surprises. They said, we know many of you are eagerly awaiting the launch of Alpha 3.17.2, and we're happy to share that we're currently on track for a live release later today, Thursday the 28th of July. Dynamic events. With the release of Alpha 3.17.2, you can expect both the Siege of Orison, the new event, and Jumptown events to be active on a rotating schedule for the 2 weeks following patch release. Rather than specific times, the events will run entirely for the day they are scheduled to accommodate all time zones. The full schedule will be available alongside the patch release. So, that's multiple events running during the 3.17 cycle, and there will be multiple opportunities to get involved with them on multiple days, so don't worry about missing out. Obviously, for the first 2 weeks, they're going to be the Siege of Orison and Jumptown events. No words on the Ninetales lockdown or anything else like Xenothreat, but those are the sort of things that they will sort of revive later, and you can probably expect the Siege of Orison and Jumptown to be run much more past those 2 weeks, but they will put schedules up for that. And there might be some sort of break between them, so maybe they'll rotate, as I said, things like the Ninetales lockdown on, or Xenothreat on, or just have a week or two where they do none of those events. Cloud Imperium continued, new player cap. With the release of Alpha 3.17.2, we plan to double the capacity of servers to 100 players per server, allowing for more pilots to participate in large-scale dynamic events, community events, PvP encounters, and more. We know this change will come as a welcome surprise to many, and we'd be remiss if we didn't call out the incredible efforts happening behind the scenes to make this possible by our engineering and publishing teams. The change is meaningful and a crucial step towards the full experience of our shared massive universe, and we're happy to report that the team is making excellent progress. It is important to remember that an increase in players does introduce more potential for stability and performance issues, but rest assured that we'll be monitoring closely, making tweaks and injecting fixes on the back end based on our observations. This is made possible by our infrastructure now allowing us to deploy server-side fixes without the need for a patch release. Separately, we'll also utilize dynamic fluctuating server caps that will prioritize performance and stability. This means that some servers will have a cap less than 100. While others will have more. We plan to continue this initiative moving forward with the goal of increasing the player cap per server as much as we can while being mindful of the play experience. It is likely that we will run with a lower player cap, less than 100, during the Siege of Orison dynamic event, simply to account for initial gameplay balance and rewards being designed initially for a lower cap. However, Jumptown will likely have a 100 player cap per server enabled, so get ready for mayhem. As always, we want to hear from you. Make sure you head over to our dedicated testing feedback threads and let us know about your experience. So that's probably the best I could have hoped for from Cloud Imperium. More dynamic server population cap that sort of prioritize stability, but targeted for at least sort of like 100 players per server, but sometimes you get more. Obviously, it reduces it down if there are issues with performance. This will allow for much more in the way of org battles. Jumptown could potentially be very hectic. There will be a lot more going on in the verse, and large groups can get together for silliness too. I think some people are worried about there's going to be more sort of like chance for pirates or PvPers on the server, but there's obviously more people to hunt them down as well. And PvP is an important part of Star Citizen, and sort of like having those pirates. You just don't want an overwhelming force pirate that sort of just hounds you and trolls you. And from playing Star Citizen regularly, that's quite rarely the case that you'll have someone literally hounding you throughout the game. Obviously, it does happen, but I think it's pretty rare. Cloud Imperium went on to say, patch wipe. We announced a wipe for the live release of Alpha 3.17.2 back in June, and we want to remind folks as such. While we anticipate wipes to be irregular, our last ones being way back in Alpha 3.8.2 and Alpha 3.15, as many of you already expect, we'll likely wipe again alongside the release of Alpha 3.18. This is simply due to the fact that backend will have a major rework as long-awaited systems such as persistence come online. Database wipe stipend. While we don't like having to initiate a database wipe, especially when it means elements of your hard work are reset, it is a necessary step from time to time while we are in alpha. The good news is, alongside the release of Alpha 3.17.2, we've worked with the design team to distribute a generous quantity of Alpha UEC based on the number of hours you've played Alpha 3.17.1. once the patch goes live, you'll find these credits have already been delivered straight to your Mobieglas wallet. So it looks like there will be a wipe in Alpha 3.18, which was expected. But with the wipe in 3.17.2, you're going to get some extra starting money based on the amount of time played in the previous patch. And that might again be rolled onto 3.18. Maybe the amount of time you play in 3.17.2 will affect the amount of money you start with in 3.18. But I would not expect that money to be too much. It's probably more of a kickstart rather than a big, healthy sort of inheritance check. We do also know that Cloud Imperium have rolled out some hotfixes onto the PTU to fix being sent to prison after the Siege of Orison. There's been some audio fixes for dialogue for the Siege, and there's another additional 3 server crashes that have been fixed. And we could well see another release candidate build on the PTU later today, with some last minute fixes in and making sure that that build holds before they then deploy it to the persistent universe. Cloud Imperium can't really afford to get a build out and not test it, at least briefly, not sanity check it, not smoke test it, because if they release something to the persistent universe which gives you less accessibility, less playability than the previous patch, well, that's just going to cause annoyance and a bit of drama in the community. However, those tests have been going great. I am so happy with the amount of content and features and gameplay in 3.17.2, and there's so much extra back-end stuff there with increased player server caps, with some significant improvements to netcode, and some of that is sort of like bodge fixes or temporary fixes until they have like persistence and server meshing in for sure, but it still goes a long way to improve the game's playability. This should be the most playable and most accessible version of Star Citizen we've ever had. Boom! That's it! It's cool! Alpha 3.17.2 live later today, unless they break it, obviously. And you've got loads of features there to keep you happy, lots of gameplay, lots of extra little bits, like I've said. But what do you think? Are you excited for Alpha 3.17.2? Are you going to be playing later tonight, if possible, or on the weekend? And do you love the idea of 100 player servers? Is that a load of fun to you, or meh, you like to solo it at the moment anyway? Are you worried about potential PvPers and super pirates just coming after you? What new features are you looking forward to? What are your thoughts? I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Greetings, citizen. I am NordVPN Man, bringing the justice of cybersecurity to the world. I protect you from ads, trackers, and malware. I punched a guy so hard once with security features that I knocked him back in time. He was able to use the knowledge of the future to become incredibly rich and wealthy. He bought like 10 subscriptions to nordvpn.com/boardgamer after that. Really smart guy. Another time, I prevented a hacker from snooping at your IP address by taking off his hands. You can't hack with no hands. Probably. Anyway, you should get NordVPN, otherwise the terrorists win. Every month we have a giveaway. For July 2022, we're giving away a Hull A cargo hauler, as well as a Nomad multi-role freighter. That Nomad also comes with a hovercrod bike. So there's 2 lucky winners this month, and both of those packages contain access to Star Citizen. Comment on any of my videos during this month to be in for a chance of winning that, and check the description down below for more details. Please consider becoming a Patreon or channel member with the join button under my videos. This nets you a variety of exclusive extras, badges, influence on the channel and content and special videos, as well as helping us produce daily content. Thank you very much for watching. Please take care, and I'll see you in the verse.